Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this tutorial on building a retrieval augmented reality generation application using Microsoft Semantic Kernel and Phi-3 model from Ollama. So, in this video we will explore how to create an intelligent locally hosted application that combines the power of advanced language model with your own data to generate accurate and contextually relevant responses. Now, first we will start this video with understanding RAG. So let's try to understand RAG. I have found this beautiful website where we can we will get there is a beautiful image of this where we can understand RAG. So what basically RAG is? So let's say you have a LLM model, but he is not aware of your personal data or something that is not in public domain. So that model is never trained on that data, so it is not aware of that. Let's say your office models, or let's say your class notes, and in that case you want to use that data to ask it question or query that data. Let's say you have PDF file that you want to query. So in that case what we do is we first take that PDF file, we read its text, and using some large language model or embedding model for that sake, we embed that data and create vectors out of it. So what is vector? So vector is an n-dimensional representation of the sentence that you have given to it, and we store it in some database. In these cases vector databases are used, but in our tutorial we will be using simple SQLite database just for the purpose of simplicity, and we will not go that far. So what does this vector means? So let's say two synonymous words are there. So for example, go and went. So in that n-dimensional space, those two vectors will be close to each other. And if we query the data that way, then it will understand, okay, the user want to ask similar questions, so you can use these two keywords and all that stuff. So that is a thing. So first thing is creating a vector store where we will be storing all our data here. Okay. Now, what happens once we create that database? We create a chat application where we give a query to our large language model. But in case of RAGs, it do not directly go to large language model. First, it goes to embedding model, the same one which we have used to embed our data from our PDF or any website or any sort of document where text is there. So our query goes through embedding model, so it kind of create vector of our query also, and using the query vector it try to find the record similar in the vector, our vector database, and try to get the relevant information out of that database. So now we have the context of what user is asking. So let's say in this case I have created one string where I have information about my friend Ashish, which is not famous, so our Phi-3 model is definitely not aware of that. And because I have that string and I am storing it in vector store, so whenever I ask my model about information, regarding information about it, it basically embed my query and search the relevant information in vector store which is related to Ashish and get the relevant data. And using that relevant data and my query prompt, I pass it to LLM and LLM respond it to me with the information that I want to ask. Basically, it creates sort of sentences out of it just to give user a better response or better feel. So that is what RAG is. You can basically use anything which can you store it in text format or string format. So it is whole different part. How do you extract data? So you can extract data from PDF files, Excel files, or you can just scrape some website and all that stuff. Next thing that we are going to do is setting up the environment. So for this purpose, we will be going to use the Ollama. So first thing that you should be doing is you should be downloading Ollama from this website, and based on your operating system, you will just download it. Next thing, you will go to Ollama library and try to find this Phi-3 model. We will be using 3.8 billion parameter model, which is like 2 GB big in size. So if you use 14 billion parameter, then it will definitely produce more good outputs, but it depends on the capacity of your laptop. Just for the context, if you are using a parameter with 7 billion, if you are using 7 billion parameter model, then you should be having at least 8 GB of RAM available in your system. So that how you can decide how much, which model you should use, which how many parameter. So now you should be copying this command and you go to your command prompt, and I have already started this model. Okay, slash by. Okay, now what you should be doing is, I already have this model installed, as you can see here, Ollama list. But what you should be doing is you should be just pasting the command that you have copied from there, and once you hit enter, it will try to basically pull the, it will take more time in your case. It has taken less time in your case. So now my large language model is running on my local computer. So if I ask any question, so let's say, hello, how are you, it will respond to me. And in this case, we are not connected, we are not basically talking to any external service like Gemini or OpenAI. So it is completely local. Next thing, we will start coding. So just make sure that this is running, and if you want to quit this, then slash by. And I'm just trying to figure out where you should get the port information. Okay, just in this case, okay, we will figure it out later. So I will close this for now. Now what I will be doing is, I have created one console application here, if you see. And now what I will do is, I will I will start building the application from the scratch. So first thing first, the main component of Microsoft kernel is kernel, which basically orchestrate all the things. So we will be creating a kernel first, which is nothing but a sort of dependency container. So we will be using iKernel builder, which is a part of semantic kernel, Microsoft semantic kernel. So kb is equal to kernel dot create builder. Okay, so now we have created a kernel builder. Now let's add our chat completion service to it. So in this case, as we are using Ollama, so we will be doing kb.add Ollama chat completion. And in this case, what it needs is, it need our model name, which you can just copy from your console. So this is our, okay, sorry. So this is our model name. And next thing we need is, we need URI. In this case, the default URI for this is 127.00.1:11434. So it runs on 11434. So we will use that directly because it is running on my default port. Just if you want to make sure if your Ollama service is running, you can copy this URL and go to Chrome for that matter. So you can see here Ollama is running. So that is how you can check it. Okay, so let's get back to our code. So we have added our chat completion service. Now if you see, it is giving us some error, but the thing is, these things are still in development, so it is not like fixed. So maybe at the moment you are seeing this video, something might have changed, so you have to do a bit struggle around that, what has changed and how to fix that. So we will just suppress this error for now, as all these things are in pre-release. So yeah, so we have added chat completion to our service, and now we will be doing is, we will be building this kb. Okay, so where kernel is equal to kb.build. So in this case, we have our dependency container created. and we will just pull in all the services from the dependency container whenever we need. Next thing that we need is uh, so we have added chat completion, right? Okay, so we need our AI instance, which is our Ollama instance, to chat with it. So we will, let's say, create one variable AI, and using the kernel dot get require service, not this kernel, sorry, smaller kernel dot, what is happening, kernel dot get required service. And here the service which we want is iChat completion service, so we will be getting that, and that's how we will get our AI. Next thing which we will be needing is our chat history, so we will create one instance of that. Chat history is equal to new. And what I will do is I have created one prompt for this chat history, so basically kind of our first message for that, which this is how we will give it some sort of persona, not exactly a persona, but how to behave. So what we are telling it here is, please give short and concise answer, because what I have observed is Phi-3 give just long answers, it just don't stop answering, so it just continue to create some data out of large language models. So yeah, so we have just given it that information. Now we will just run an infinite loop, and in that what we will be doing is, we will first, just for some sort of uh, understanding purpose, we will mark this line with question. So here user will be entering the question. Okay, next thing, we will be reading the data from user, so where question is equal to console dot read line, and here, okay, console dot read line, and basically that's it. So we now have our console. So the thing which we want to do here is, we will add it to our chat history dot add user message and question. So we have added our question to our chat history. Next thing we want to do is, we want to pass this question to our model. So await for each where response in ai.get streaming chat message async, and in this case it needs parameter chat history, so we will pass it that. And now what, okay, so thing is, this get streaming chat message async, so why we are using this method is, another method first create whole response and then show it to us on our console. So till that time, as it we are running on local, so it basically takes a lot of time to generate that response. Lot of means like more than what you have seen on OpenAI and Google. So what we will be doing is, we will be streaming, so as it is generating the response, we are at least seeing something on the console, so that is the case. So that is the reason why I am using this get chat message content async. But what is the drawback of it is, it generate the response in sort of chunks, like it will create some words, it will create some half word. So what we will be doing is, we will be creating one string builder for that. String builder is equal to, okay, and now what we will be doing is, we will be just appending this response to our string builder, sb dot append line, and we need to append this response. So probably the what is this? So maybe just toString will work. Let's try response dot toString. Okay, so now what we will be doing is we will be just checking. Okay, we have to clear this string builder somewhere. SB dot clear, because on next iteration we don't want it with older data. It will create new one. It is not needed. So just leave it. Okay. So now what we have is we are appending line of response, and then what we will be doing is console.writeLine. Oh, we don't want that to happen. So we will be doing console.writeLine here, and we will just printing the response. And this builder response we need for our chat history, because we want to store the context of what has happened previously, because generally these LLM model are not storing context on their side, so we have to store context on our side, that what has happened. So for example, if let's say I said it a question, that if I have introduced him like, hello, my name is Rohit, and then he will respond it with, hello Rohit, good to meet you, and something like that. And if next question I ask him without this chat history context, what is my name, it will not know my name. He will say that I don't know you. I have shown it in another video, so you can check it there. But here let's do SB, no, not SB. So we add it to our chat history, that what has chat history dot add. Now this is message from assistant, and we will be doing is we will be just SB dot toString, and that's it. So now let's try to see what we have created. At least our application is running or not, and then we will add the capabilities to it of RAG. Okay, so it has started. So now I will greet him with message, hello. So as you can see, it has not thrown any error yet, so probably it is okay. So it is generating response, but the problem here is console.writeLine. So we will just do console.write, and it should be good. Two things I want to check is if it is responding and if it is storing the context of what of my previous conversation. So let's check. Hello, my name is Rohit. Okay. Hello, nice to meet you. Okay, it has generated some gibberish. Okay. Next thing we will ask him is, do you my name? Just to know if it is aware of the context that we had discussion previously. Okay, I have given it a wrong prompt. Do you my name? But let's see if it is able to figure it out. Yeah, so we have successfully stored our data in our chat history, and that's all. So now we will jump into building actual rack stuff. So it is just a basic. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is we want a embedding generation service, as you have seen here. So here we need this embedding model. So we will be using Phi's embedding model only. So if you go to our code again, and we will add that service here, kb dot add Ollama text embedding generation, and it basically takes the same parameter as above that we have provided. So what it will do is it will embed the text that we are giving to it. Next thing that we want to create is a memory. So in order to create memory, we will use I semantic text memory. Memory is equal to new memory builder. And then we will just chain it with multiple methods, where first we will create a memory store where we will be storing all the memory, basically a database. And in this case I have told you that we will be using the SQLite database. So for that purpose I will be giving it a store which is SQLite memory store. Okay, SQLite memory store dot connect async. Let's give our database some name. So let's say ragdata dot db. So it will basically create a db file in our, okay, I'm doing some mistake dot. Okay, so let's see what has gone wrong. Let's first add all the code. Then we need to create a embedding generation service. So with embedding generation, with text embedding generation, where we will need to get our embedding generation which we have added here. So what we will be doing is we will be fetching it from kernel dot get required. It just gives so much prompt. Required, not this kernel and not this also. So kernel dot get required service. Here what we need is text embedding generation service. So we will be passing that embedding generation service, and that's all. And then we will be building this memory store dot build. Okay, so here it is giving some of the warning, or you can say error, where it is saying that it is currently under development and it will tend to change or may change. So yeah, so that is warning for you also. If you are watching it after some time, then there is a probability that Microsoft have changed something in this, and then your code will not work exactly as mine. So you have to figure out that. So yeah, let's suppress all these warnings. Okay, just want to check the last error. That, yeah, it is same error. So we will just suppress that error or warning. Now we have separated the, so we now have created memory. So next thing that we want to do is we want to create a collection, basically a table in that memory. So let's say where collection name is equal to, and let's give it a name database table 1. So in just in some case, because at table gets created, so we are going to use the same on the next cycle. So okay, listen, what is a thing here. As we are using the database and storing embeddings there, creating embedding is an expensive task. So we will create embedding once, and on the next iteration whenever we run the task, we will use the same embeddings that we have created earlier. So that is the thing. So in case if you think that we should be using, so what I mean is, in case if you for some reason your code gets break in, and for some reason basically database is created but you don't want that database, so what you should be doing is you should be changing this collection name. So that is the thing. Okay, so now we have created so we now have the collection name, and we will do what we will do is we will check if this memory collection exists in our memory initially. So where collections collections is equal to await, because it is going to be a sync operation, and we will be checking in memory dot, yeah, right, get collection async, this one. So we will be getting all the collection, and we will check if our collections dot contains our collection name, and if it is and if it contains, so we will just simply write console dot write line and collection name already exist. Now, so as collection name already exists, the next thing that we want to do is we want to check if it is not exist, then we will basically create one with our data. So in the case if it is not exist, then what we will be doing is using HTTP client, because this is a Ollama is basically an REST service, so we have to use its API, so that's why we are using HTTP client. Next thing is the data which we want to embed, so basically our PDFs data or website data, so that sort of stuff. So string, let's say s is equal to, and I have already created a data for my friend. So here it is. Just before doing this, I want to try one thing, control K C, and as we have all these things created, and if I run this application now, I want to see what happens if I ask him related information related to the Ashish right now, when he don't know what Ashish is. So what is age of Ashish, for example? Right. It is saying right thing. It don't know Ashish, and it don't have his personal data and all that stuff. So okay, we will get back to this. Control KU. Now, next thing what we want to do is, as we have data of Ashish, in this case, if you have PDF file, then you have to read that PDF file. Then next thing we have to chunk this data. So what do we mean by chunking? So we need to create paragraph out of it. So where paragraphs is equal to text chunker, which is service from Microsoft only. Yeah, Microsoft Semantic Kernel Service. And then we need to split plain text paragraphs. In this, we will be further splitting it in based on the lines. Chunker dot split plain text lines, and in this case we will be passing this our string, And the another parameter that it requires is basically the number of maximum tokens per line. So we will just pass it limited to 50, and in case of paragraph we will limit it to 150. Okay, so now understand what is happening here. So we have basically created a paragraph where maximum word chunks in line is 50 and maximum lines per paragraph is 150. So it is not required because our data here is very small. But in case if your data is very large, let's say PDF files which contains large amount of paragraphs and lines, so in that case you have to chunk that data. And one more thing, as we are using it local, and as I have said, embedding is an expensive operation. So if your data set is large, then it takes a significant amount of time to embed the things. So in that case, you have to find the sweet spot, how much your machine can handle and how much you can set the size of maximum chunks. So in this case, if we set it to 1000, my machine will not be able to handle it, and it will say something like the request have take more than 100 milliseconds, so we are stopping the request and it is cancelled and that sort of thing. So the it is saying something here, so let's say what it is saying. Let's close this. I think we are good now. Okay, let's see. Again, it is saying to suppress that warning message. So we have suppressed the warning message now. Now we have paragraphs. The next thing that we want to do, we have chunked it. So basically, now what we will be doing next is we will be embedding it into our database. So for each paragraphs, right, we will be doing await and memory dot save information async, and it will basically internally call some methods which collection name, then we will be parsing the paragraph that we want to embed, and then we will be passing some ID. In this case I will just give it some ID. So I will just explain you what these things are. So collection name is the database that it will look into or store into. Next thing is paragraph that it will be embedding and storing, and ID is something that you can use for citation. So if let's say you have multiple PDF file and you are trying to create a RAG based application where you want to give a citation that where what resource are you referencing while responding like this, so you can basically store ID there, and that's how you can give the additional things that okay, we are referencing this file while responding like this. So now we have stored in the database. So now we will be logging some message that database generated. Okay, so now what has happened, let's go to our diagram. So we are creating a vector store using our embedding model. We are using Ollama's embedding model, in this case Phi-3's embedding model, and we are basically storing our data by embedding it in this vector store. So that has happened till now. Next thing, let's go to our application. Now what we want to do is we want to, after user have asked a question, so after user have asked a question, we want to find the relevant data in our database. So for that purpose, I will be using this query to find the relevant data. For each in memory dot, not get collection async, search async, memory dot search async, and We will be basically giving it a collection name and question, right? So it will look into that data table and for this collection name. I will also show you the table that I am speaking about, okay? Now, next thing what we want to do is, mm, as we have found the result, so we will be appending it to our string builder. Shall I append it to my string builder? Yeah, or I think I should just add it to my chat history. Chat history dot add message saying that question, sorry, result. Okay, you know what I think? I think I should use string builder here. So I will just sb dot append, and I will append this data in SB first because it can return us multiple results. So okay, I have missed one parameter here. We can set a limit. Default limit is 1, but we will be looking for multiple. So let's say if you have find our relevant data in multiple paragraphs, so we want to bring all those paragraphs just for the sake of context, and so I am limiting it to 3. Now my data is so small that it doesn't matter. It will probably just create one paragraph. So only one record in database, but we will see. sb.append result dot metadata. It creates that the result in metadata. So I will be accessing that. Okay, it's not result. What is happening? Result dot metadata dot text. So now we have the text that we have appended to our string builder. Next thing that we want to do is we want to check if our string builder is appended or not, because here initially it is empty, right? So if string builder's length is greater than 0, then what we will be doing is we will be adding a message to chat history saying dot add user message. Okay, first what I will add is, here is additional information, additional information, and then we will add the information that we have found. So in this case, our chat history dot add user message sb.toString. So yeah, probably this will work. Okay, I think this is good. Now as we have added our string builder information to our data, so I will just clear this string builder because we want to store those chunks from the response of our question, in that case in the next form. After appending the data, we will append our question to chat history and going forward. So I think that should be it. So let's run this application and it should work according to me right now, but let's see if we face some error. So the application is running. So why it is not ready to give me question right now? Okay, let's see. Let's wait because I will say something at something different. Okay, it has created a database. That is why. So now it has created database. So I will show you the database, but I will ask him the same question that I have asked earlier. What is the age of Ashish? And let's see if it is able to respond it, because Ashish is 26 years old. If not, then we have to debug it and figure out why it is not working. Perfect. It has given us exact information about Ashish, that he is 26 years old. So that is how RAG works. Now, what I want to show you is the database that has been created. So what you have to do is just right click on any file here on the top and open continue folder. Basically, we are going to the project folder that is there. So in this case, just go to bin debug.net 8, and here we have to find, yeah, rag data. So we have created a rag data db file, right? And open it with SQLite, basically some sort of viewer. I have SQLite viewer here. So let's fully create it and browse data. So here if you see, collection is created with dbtb1. Here I have just put a key as id, so it has id. And the next thing here is metadata, that it has stored Ashish at 26 years old and all that stuff. And the next thing is the embedding, basically the vector that it has created. So from this paragraph, it has created this embedding, and it is very long. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you have found this video interesting, and if you find it helpful, then please give a like, subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye.